You better be quick. Go, I'll shut the door.
Jerry? Toy? Yeah, I can't go because I've got to carry my tea. Toy?
Can we kiss goodnight? I love you. Well done for getting all those questions right.
Yeah, very clever. Right, let's go.
Are you going straight to talk?
Yeah.
Love you. Night. How we doing? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, great.
Nice.
Mute myself. Already am. Cool. We'll just wait for everybody to show up.
Making me hungry, JB.
Again?
You're making me hungry.
Why?
Because you look like you're eating.
Oh, yeah, I have to. I'm on this 28-day program. I'm in part of a mastermind. And there's loads of good fit pros in there. And one of my friends, he's brilliant. And I'm doing this 28 days just to see if I can. I'm trying to put myself through what other people go through and just try and experience what they go through. And it's like relentless.
How did you get on with the muscle food, the microwaves ones?
Yeah, good. Yeah. So I eat. So I eat at 4:30, 7 o'clock, 10:30, 1:30, 4 o'clock. Now and then a protein shake before bed. Honestly.
I eat then, but it's all Mars bars and Maltesers.
Shouldn't be telling me that.
Although, no, curly whirlies are the new superfood.
Oh, fucking curly whirly. When you have curly whirly, you have to have it frozen.
Yeah, put them in the fridge, smash it up, lasts forever. 97 calories. It's a life changer.
Yeah, definitely. It's fucking carnage. What a time to do it, 7 o'clock at bedtime. Stupid me.
Mark, I will reply to you, mate. I've got it on my list of things to do.
No worries, Dan. That's no problem at all.
On the I daren't turn my phone on. But on the WhatsApp chat, is anyone asking that they can't, or saying that they can't get through?
No, don't look like it.
Okay. Because there's definitely more thumbs up than what's here.
You scared them all off with your message.
One of the things that you'll notice immediately is I don't know if intensity is the right word, but momentum. So it's all the same. The only difference is the modules and the updates. I think they are the real key differences in terms of the 28-day and the mastermind. The other thing is, as well, is the emotional conditioning of everybody that comes in on the 28-day. Now, the 28-day, you go from maybe a 2 or 3 or 4 out of 10 to then suddenly doing something about that 2, 3, or 4 out of 10. So you instantly become quite engaged, quite driven, quite ambitious, quite like pumped, ready to go. There is that initial feeling of emotional drive, right? So that alongside with everything that you're learning and everything that's new, and you get to that 28-day stage. When you then come into the mastermind, one of the reasons that I asked you to do the 90-day plan is because I ideally want you to have some idea about where you're going to go in terms of the first quarter for you. Now, one of the things that I want to explain to you is that, and I kind of put it in that message, is I want everybody to have a focus towards the end of the year. And then as we go into the start of the year, I want us just to kind of work onto that quarter. And one of the ways that we need to communicate that better for future guys is that if you come in on week 6 of, if you like, of a quarter, halfway through a quarter, is about taking your 90-day goal and adapting it to become a 6-week goal to achieve to the end of the quarter. Now, the idea of the mastermind is obviously we're doing challenges. I try to do an update every day at 9 in the morning. There's the support. Every single one of you can drop me a message whenever you want. Okay, like on that app. If you need support or guidance, that's the whole point of this process. If you're lost, if you're stuck, if you're falling off the wagon, you know, there's guys who message me, so I didn't want to bother you when this is my fucking job. Do you know what I mean? So like when I wake up there and I've like got some messages and you're stuck, that's the whole point of me being here for you, is to feel like I'm approachable enough for you to be able to do that in the app. The whole process and everything you do in terms of your weekly plans, in terms of your accountability, in terms of showing up, everything has to be predicated on whatever you've set yourself in your plans. Now, at the very top, now, I hope I'm not got my Pornhub page open on here. Let's have a look.
I hope you had.
Good. Mrs. took it down. Right. So it's a little bit different for desktop, but you can see here the featured posts at the very top. So this obviously is where we posted the 90-day plans. Now, the topics, it comes under the 90-day plan. So when we come to do January's, and you're going to start, so from December, I'm going to be hammering everyone in the mastermind to, number one, plan their year. Okay. And I'm going to give everybody and tell everybody how to go about structuring their year. Okay. And then structuring your first quarter. All right. And ideally, what you've got in here, these were my plans that I set. Okay. For the fourth quarter. And you can see kind of everyone coming in here and everyone putting in their plan. So in terms of you, where to put your plan, that's where it would be. It will always be under the 90-day tag, okay, or topic, or whatever you want to call it. Anything that like you need to know or is important will always be here. So like November's challenge, is everyone chosen a book? Yeah. Okay, cool. So there are those challenges that are going on. There's going to be quarterly challenges. Now they are usually physical ones, which will include. Let me just stop sharing this. Which will mean you get a medal. So just before you guys actually joined us, we did a half marathon for one of the lads' mums who passed away through COVID. And we did medals as well to achieve that. So along the way, as well as you trying to achieve everything that you want to achieve, there is also obviously lots going on in the mastermind. Now, the best way to approach this is that if you're ever unsure about anything, is message me. But in terms of like you structuring yourself and coming in to check in and do your part, one of the best strategies that I found having worked with the guys is setting alarms on your phone for when we do account. I set the alarms for me as well, just to double check the posts have gone up. So like your Monday breakthrough, your Saturday planner, your Wednesday check-in, the Q&A on the Tuesday, your accountability. If you set it for 8:45, you know you've got 15 minutes before you want to be making sure that you show up. And they are just like little reminders to say, well, yeah, I'm meant to do that. It's been a busy morning. I've got overwhelmed. That's a little trigger for me to get back in there. Okay. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, I think for me, the real difference between the 28-day and the mastermind was you put it that you had other tasks to do, and there was a lot more to think about. There was a lot, you had your homework and whatever.
Yeah.
And I think for me, coming into the nightmare is you finish the 28 days and it's half term, which doesn't help either. But and so I take the week off. But the real thing is, I think there are times I felt that I'm going through the motions of I am just filling in the form. I am just saying I did my morning routine, but actually did I do it to my best of my ability? Nah, maybe not. Do you know what I mean? And I think a couple of us talking, and maybe I should redo one 28-day module a week, so the 12 weeks. But it was not having that other piece to kind of have something to think about, and I just felt sometimes that you're just going through the motions.
So 110%. So this is always my theory in terms of men's development. So or anyone's development. So at the very start, there is lots more accountability in terms of being supported with the ambassadors, with Lou and everything else there. The next stage is really about training you guys to do this for yourselves. So I think the two rules that I always state is like, meet me halfway and show the hell up. On average, we've got guys who like to be in the mastermind, who could do it easily without the mastermind, but just love to be a part of the mastermind and part of the group. And the real good thing that will end up happening is that when COVID's gone, 3 times a year, we are physically going to be meeting up for a whole day's worth of training, like fun training, paintballing, lunch together, physical training in front of you. So at the minute, we're missing that as well. That's a big miss. They are like golden days, when we come in and we talk about what's happened and what hasn't happened over the quarter. There has to be an element somewhere along the process where we let go of one hand, and you then take the responsibility, I think is the word, of going, you've got to be able to do, at some point you're going to want to leave the nest. You might not. You might actually just love the community and being part of it. And at some point along the way, there has to be an element of, I've got to be able to do this for myself. If, for example, I could get run over tomorrow, and I always use that analogy with my kids. I'm like, if I'm fucking gone tomorrow, what are you going to do? And that is my theory in terms of education. Now, if you look here as well, excuse me. So if you go to courses, okay, one of the things that I recommend doing for many of the guys, by all means, take all night. Sorry, 2 secs. Okay, so there is, I would say, nearly 100 hours worth of content in the courses. Okay, now, one of the strategies that you can adapt and implement is watching any of these videos. Now, if I look here, that's the vlog, yoga, the Rise to Thrive. So every single Rise to Thrive show that's ever been is in there. So in theory, part of your morning routine could be to come in here and go, right, I'm going to watch one of his videos, because the last thing you would do is go through Facebook, right? So you can literally go through one of those videos. I mean, all of these are videos that have gone up that you can watch back, that end up motivating you throughout the day. You can watch one of those videos and that can be your focus for the day. You're like, okay, that's my teaching point for the day. Okay, or it's my teaching point. All of the modules that we did on the 28th day are right here. The JB show, the JB show was what I used to call the Rise to Thrive show before we changed the name. So again, in here, there is like numerous trainings. Okay, so if you're coming down here, there's loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of content, and then it goes on. And the mastermind specific training. So what I'm trying to do is one module a week for everybody to work in. That's what I'm just trying to restructure now. There's just been so much going on at the minute that I've wanted, like Mondays is when I want to put up the module. So I kind of want to give you homework for the week, which is how
I think that from my point of view, that was one of the most powerful things of the 28th day, was hearing about other people and what they were going through.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's 100% right. And like, we know that. So we're always evolving the mastermind to make sure that it meets the needs of everybody. So for me, I think the best time to do this is present a module on a Monday that kind of gives you some focus for this is what I want you to try and do for the week. And then you kind of tackle that for the week. And that kind of keeps you engaged and thrive for the week, as well as everything else that's going on. So that is a really good point. And and I think that's the point of these meetings here as well, is that I can get that feedback to improve that service so that you're engaged, right? So it's my desire and passion for all of you guys to get to where you want to be. And the only way that I can do that is to meet in the middle with you guys. But 100% valid point, definitely. But until that happens, until we get into that nice flow of things, which will happen, like maybe look at one of the videos a day, and just every single morning, part of your morning routine, part of your personal development is to go in and go, okay, I'm going to watch one video, boom, and go from there. Anyone else?
The thing is with there's so much content on there. It's kind of overwhelming, in terms of where to start, and then of course you're doing the shows 2 or 3 times a week, which I like to watch, but there's 8 minutes, and then you get another 8 minutes, and then boom, you've just been staring at a screen for too long, So, what is there kind of, I like the way that when we first came in, there was a kind of, 10-step sort of thing that you kind of went through, with the 10 most important things to focus on.
Yeah, okay.
I wonder whether you could do that with some of the videos,
So my question is always, when it comes to consuming content and when watching videos, what do you do with them?
I take notes.
Do you action?
I'll write down key points. Sorry?
Do you ever action anything that goes on? So anything I talk about. So for example, one of the reasons I've got everybody to do the challenge for November, as in reading the book and writing down learning points and actioning those learning points, is because I want people to be able to consume content, but actually do something with it. So in terms of what you're saying, in terms of where to start, it literally is a case of it's a case of you structuring and you saying, how much personal development do I want to consume a day? Okay. How much time am I willing to invest? Like, the other thing is you don't always have to just consume what I put. So you might watch some of me, but then you might watch somebody else that's more specific to yours as well. So if I give you an example, when I break down my days into periods, the last hour of my working day is purely personal development. So what I'll end up doing is watching a video or TED show or something that someone's recommended to me, or just listen to my audiobook. And all I'll end up doing is sitting there, and I'll have my content journal, okay, here. And what I'll end up doing is writing them down and how I'm going to implement them within the day. And there is a tendency of overwhelm for many people in terms of like, oh, fucking, I'm consuming this content, that content, this content. And I guess my thought process is that content is like a voice inside of your head that is consistently reminding you of what's going on. So you might forget something that I've said in the past, then I might bring it up and you'll be like, fuck, yes, I haven't done that recently. So I think the relationship with content has to be one of either one where you, if you think it's like a school scenario, you consume, process and action, or then there is the just consume. So some content I just consume, and I could listen to an hour's podcast and maybe only get one thing that I think, fuck, I'm going to action that. That's really good. So, or it's just reminding me of the positive message over and over and over again, because the minute you stop consuming content is when you stop keeping your self-awareness at a high level, is when you stop being conscious about your well-being, your health, your priority. You know, if you listen to my content and you listened over a 4-month period, you see that I actually repeat myself quite a lot of times about the same subjects, but at different angles. And that's because there is nothing new I've got to say. Like, some of the stuff that I say is always the same, but it's just at different angles. Does that make sense? So
yeah, it does. Yeah, and I have seen that kind of consistent message kind of coming through. Yeah, and I do appreciate that, but I think you're right. It's just watching 3 or 4 videos a day, you forget most of it. But I do find it is seating. It's kind of, it's coming through. But again, there's just so much there. And I just hate clicking around websites and apps. It does me head in.
100%. I get it. So like one of the things so in terms of strategy, it's kind of like create a period in your day where you're just going to dedicate time to personal development. So I always think of this as like when I went back to school, I talked about this when we were in the 28 days. So we're breaking down each, like, if you like, I'm a bit anal with time, and I think it's just a military thing, but I'm like, I break my hours down hour by hour. Okay, so I know exactly what I'm doing every hour of every week. So when I plan on Sunday. So I've planned by 12 o'clock on Sunday, and I know what I'm doing every hour of every day the following week. And I know when I'm going to do personal development. I know when I'm going to do my videos. I know I'm going to do my journaling. It's a bit of a control thing, but I think that's just been forced into me from the military. But I like that sense of control. So for you, Andy, I think the key thing is to go, right, when is my content time? When is my personal development time? When am I best going to consume this? Okay. And what's the cutoff point, and what am I going to do with it? So if you say to me, right, I'm only going to limit 2 videos, 20 minutes worth of watching, 40 minutes worth of processing action in it. How is that relevant in my life? Let's just say if you put an hour aside. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, it's with all of this, it's just kind of learning little by little, isn't it? You know, your 1%, as you keep saying, you know. So
100%.
I think you
How
kind
old
of
are
want
you?
it, you know, and trying to do too much at once, you know. But
How old are you?
I'm 49 next month.
So you got another 51
49.
years. You got another 51 years minimum. So you don't have to consume the world of like content right now. And I think the other thing, as well, mate, is like when you're going through so overwhelm is classic, right? So that's already triggered in my head. So I will end up creating something on overwhelm in the next 2 weeks. And I think the key with overwhelm is when you get to that point and you're like, oh my fucking God, I literally don't know what to do here. Brainstorm everything that's going through your head. Like, you know, the brain dump is so effective in terms of feeling overwhelmed. You know, it's just trying to find a fine line. I'm a big one on over delivering rather than under delivering. So if I put too little in, people will be like, oh, there's just not enough. If I put enough in, there's plenty to be able to get on with. But your point is so valid, 110%, but it's just checking in with that and making sure, you know, you've got a system in place for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good point.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I've got a question. So what do you recommend we do now for between now and maybe Christmas for when we're going to plan the rest of the year? So should we like relook at our or make a up until Christmas plan and implement
so I
that?
would take what you've written down on your 90-day plan and I would dissect it to ask yourself, what have we got, 8 weeks, maybe 7, 8 weeks, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So there's still an awful lot of time to achieve an awful lot. And I would look at your plans, your 12-week plan, and start to prioritize what's most important to you for the new year. Now, in terms of, in terms of, going into the new year, new quarter. So in terms of your guys' development, one of the biggest things that I would really recommend is that when anyone comes into the mastermind, it's really nailing a strategy to use the mastermind to your benefits, right?
Yeah.
So if we take this and break it down into the 4 pillars, if we talk about health, what's the biggest thing you're focusing on health right now?
With me, doing five days a week workout.
Okay. And
That's
what is your aim in terms of, on your 90-day plan, what did you put down to achieve in the first?
6-pack.
A 6-pack. Right. Are you done?
If it works, let me know, will you?
Yeah. I'll do some before and after photos.
All right. So
and drawing one on doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me ask you a question, Gareth. Going into Christmas, is that the best objective to try and achieve?
Well, I mean, maybe not the most realistic.
Okay. So my thought process is that, like, when it comes to health, how are you dealing with things mentally and emotionally overall?
Well, I'm dealing pretty well, I think, overall. If we're looking at scores, I'd probably be about an 8.
Great.
On health.
Okay. So for me,
but when I started on the 28th day, like you said, I was much lower. So that's really been useful for me, and I think that's what I was missing, was the structure and someone telling me what to do every day. A bit like Mark said earlier. Then it suddenly we stopped doing that, and then I was like, I've got to do it myself, and not really sure, and I was a little bit lost, which is why I posted it to you guys.
Yeah, no, 100%, and I'm glad you did. So like for me, the best thing that you can do is reinforce the process between now and the end of Christmas in terms of your health. So when it comes to your health, it's maintaining those 5 workouts, it's maintaining the calories, and it's getting yourself to a decent standard, so that when we start in January, that's the fucking time to start looking for a 6-pack, right? Because Christmas is out of the way. We're probably still, we're still going to be like, there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel in terms of COVID, but you've got a great opportunity here for you to even create that goal from January through to March. So maintenance, reinforce what you're doing, keep at an 8 for health, emotional, and maintain that. Okay. And I think that is a great goal leading up into Christmas. So relationships, what did you put down?
At the moment, probably about 6 or 7.
So what did you write down on your 90-day plan for relationships?
Spend more quality time with the family and my wife.
And how are you doing that?
It's obviously it's difficult finding the time. Otherwise, I'd be doing it before. But we're working on it. But the thing, there's structure to it now, which there wasn't before. Okay. So it doesn't always work out, but at least there's a plan.
Good, and that's the thing. So for me, when you're looking from between now and let's just say Jan 1st, it's about what are you doing to make that happen, to have more quality time. Did you say there's kids there as well?
Yeah.
So what are you doing in terms of making sure that quality time is happening with the wife and kids? Like, what are the things that are stopping you and what can you do about overcoming them? And that's your one thing that you're going to try and achieve by January, so that when you go into the new year, you've built up these things, you've built up the principles, you've built up the basics that we've talked about in the early days of the 28-day. And it's just about reinforcing. I think sometimes when you come into the mastermind, there's this kind of, if you like, feeling that you've got to like be at a certain level, or, I feel like I should be doing more. Like, just by doing one thing per pillar per quarter is what you're looking for, guys. Like one thing. Okay, my only goal for the whole of the 12 weeks was by the end of the 12 weeks to be able to run 40 miles a week. That was it. Nothing else, not calories, not workouts, not the programs it's on. The overall objective was that. And when you keep it super simple, that level of overwhelm just reduces.
Yeah, that makes sense, because you certainly on the plan, I think I was definitely trying to do too much.
Yeah.
And then you get disappointed that you're not achieving it. 100%. And then you get a little bit, Do
you remember the update I did where I talked about conditioning versus expectation?
Yeah.
And so your expectations are here.
Yeah.
You're actually still a white belt. And there's that deficit that creates disappointment, low confidence, being annoyed. This is not fucking working.
Yeah, 100%. So really you need to maybe simplify 100%. The plan for now.
100%.
And you
Remember,
say, these are the smaller goals, and then we can look at the 100%. Long-term goals further down the line. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Because if you spent 12 weeks working out a system to make sure that you got home on time and your work-life balance was right, by the end of those 12 weeks, if that's all you focused on, imagine all of that time and energy just going into that one thing. The quality of your life will be 10 times better, as in the work-life balance. If you didn't focus on anything else, if that was your main priority, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
If I practice playing football and I practice free kicks for 12 weeks, that's all I ever practiced. By the time it comes to game time after 12 weeks, I'll be fucking David Beckham at doing them, right? That's why they are so good at football, because they all ever do is do that one thing. They practice the same pass, the header, the chest. And I think that's I think that's like a paradigm shift where suddenly you're like, oh my God, it just has to be that simple. That, we're just trying.
Yeah, completely. But it's easy to try and do too much, because the other thing, the reason why we came here, or the reason why I came here, there was a lot that I wanted to change. So you're looking at everything and you're trying to change it immediately. And then that certainly can be overwhelming.
Yeah, definitely.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, it's coming back to everything.
Yeah.
And if you remember, if I could jar up in a milk bottle how you used to be before you joined me, and you could just open up that box or that bottle and you could just look at yourself, like, and do you know what I mean? You suddenly go, wow. Like, I always forget where, like, in terms of whenever it comes to business development, I'm part of a mastermind. One of the things I always say is that I just don't feel like I've moved forwards whatsoever with the brand. But when I look at this time last year, like, I was still taking classes in my local town with my boot camp, like dreaming of being here, just being able to do this with a guy. This is all I ever wanted to do. But like in that year, and you just forget, you automatically forget where you've come from straight away and what you've learned and what you developed. And one of the guys left the mastermind today because he forgot that. And he said, I just don't have time for it. And he is like, no matter what I did, no matter what I said to him, he would not see that. And he's forgotten that. He's gone like this, 0, 28 day, fucking progressing, gone. And it literally only a week.
Doesn't that when it's all going too well, it's easy to be complacent as well, though, right? You forget.
It takes
You
a week.
forget what made you get there, and you think, oh, it wasn't that. It's all, yeah, I'm happy now.
100%. Yeah, definitely. And then you start thinking, well, I should be further forward. I should be this. I should that. And then you're reading what other lads have put, and he's fucking doing that, and he's doing that. Like, everybody has their own circumstances. Everyone is different. Everyone sees the world in a different light, in a different view. And we're all on our own journey. And that's what's really important to understand, is that the mastermind kind of brings all of those personalities together. And you might be having a great day, and you then might go ahead and pick up Mark, or Mark might be having a great day and you're not, and he might come along and pick you up, which is why I keep saying, when you're having a shit day, the whole point of the brotherhood and the mastermind is that you put it out on the table, you get out your system, it's on the timeline. It doesn't matter what the problem is, doesn't matter how silly you think it is. And if you don't want to post it publicly, you post it to me and then we deal with it. Like, do you know what I mean? And that's that progression.
But what I do, Gareth, and I don't know if it'll help you, is I go back to the notes I made for my 28 days.
Yeah.
I do that every week on a Friday. If I had a tough week, whatever it is, I'll go back and look at all those notes I made on the 28 days about what I want to achieve, what's happened, to remind myself that that's where I was and I'm now already here. So that's part, I do that's part of my PD every week.
Yeah.
Look at where I was.
Awesome. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
And I think that
because you do forget very quickly. You do forget
that's what the reflection's about, though, right? That's why you have that period. And like what Steve's done there must be a military thing. On Fridays, I literally spend an hour reviewing my week, like a whole hour. I think about, like, what did I say I was going to achieve? What were the triggers? What were the distractions? Do you know what I mean? I lost an hour and a half today through bloody people phoning me and distracting me and stuff like that. And when it comes to Friday, I've got to figure out a way that I've got to protect myself even more from that. And you just review that over and over again. It's a constant review, but it's never a perfection. Nothing will ever be perfect. And there will always be the disruptions and the distractions and everything else that's going on. But it's a case to keep going. You make, as Chad as it sounds, we use that saying, remember the mission, because that's what you're trying to do, right? You come back to that line from A to B. The A to B is the mission. You go off here somewhere, you come back. Good. Got some more clarity, Gareth?
Yeah, awesome.
Brilliant, mate. Anyone else? Please feel free to open up, guys. You've got me here.
Yeah, I've got a quick one, James.
No, mate.
Yeah, just some of the other guys have pretty much mentioned what I was thinking anyway, but something Mark touched on right at the beginning about the accountability. I've noticed on the app you've got the threesomes and the foursomes.
Yep.
So is that something that moves on as the mastermind moves on? Do we get?
Are you part of it? Are you part of them? Are you guys?
No, not well. I'm not at the moment personally.
Are you guys?
No, I'm just wondering whether we should just use this group, but we've already got a WhatsApp group up. So I'm just wondering whether.
So the idea of the threesomes was that threesomes and foursomes is that we wanted to invite people. It was probably around the period that you were coming in, and Lou put up a post and was basically asking people if they wanted to be in a background group. You know, so basically it started about 5 months ago. And there's a guy called Dimitri, I don't know if you've seen him, but basically he posts up every Sunday, and these guys were desperately trying to lose weight, but they weren't showing up and they weren't doing the calories. So they got a group together. And one of the things that we wanted to do was collaborate people together. But if you've already got a WhatsApp group going behind the scenes and you are guys...
no, it's your one. It's this one, isn't it?
Oh, I think, yeah. Sorry. But
we're not doing a covert one or anything like that.
I was going to say, if you wanted one where you're not slagging me and John off. Yeah. But no, if you like, I'll speak to Lou and Lou will put out a post anyway. So things are sort of changing behind the scenes anyway a little bit. And Lou's not going to be your point of contact anymore. John's going to be. But we will end up, before Lou finishes at the end of the month, we'll be making sure that she does it. So every month we're kind of going to do a refresh, because not everyone always gets involved, which is the frustrating thing. So every single month we go, does anyone need a new group? And if they want to, then we just throw you in together.
Yeah, nice one. It's just like Mark said, it's that sometimes you lose that accountability, and that might help a little bit if you're not just losing your way. That was all I was thinking.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Like I will. Let me just write it down.
It's just like, but personally, I've had a shit couple of weeks. No excuses, just lockdown, smashed my knee up. I've been off work. It's just all on top of me in one go. So something like that might have given me a bit of a kick up the arse. It might not. I don't know. But,
Or Steve, you could have messaged me.
yeah, I know. I was like a true. I'm ex-military as well, so I was trying to do it by myself in true military
So
fashion.
drop the ego, Steve.
I know. Yeah.
This
I
is
wasn't
what you're
Matt,
here
though.
for. This is
I wasn't
short.
Matt though.
This is what you invest. This is like what you've invested in, right? To come
I
and
know.
work with me. So fucking message me if you're like.
I know.
Sorry. If you
I'm back to work tomorrow for the first time in 5 weeks. So we'll.
nervous,
Sorry.
nervous.
A little bit, yeah, but they've been very good. They've even given me an automatic car for a month or so as well.
Yeah.
So they've been pretty good, to be fair.
Good.
And I'm being made redundant in March as well, so it's all a bit up in the air. But no, but this is helping because
But
it's
if you
taking my
need
mind
to,
off it.
Steve, that is my point. Like that is my point. If you the minute you started going downhill and having a bad couple of weeks, that's when you should have gone, JB, struggling a bit, and I would have gone, right, what's happening?
Yeah, I know.
Why
But
didn't you?
I'm
Why
getting there because I applied for my first job in 20 years the other day. So I haven't heard back, but there you go. But it's a start.
It's a start, mate.
Yeah,
It's a start.
good try.
What, Steve? Why didn't you message me?
Ego, probably, like you say, thought I could do it myself. Slipped into the bottle for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm back in it now. I think it was just everything on top of me in one go. But yeah, noted. I should have. I've had a chat with a couple of the guys, Mark and Steve and people like that. I've been
But
messaging.
they'll all tell you nice things, mate.
No, they're being pretty blunt as well. So saying that, Mark's just said I've lost weight. I don't know what camera you've got on, Mark. But a
The
small angle
filter.
lane.
It's an
Your
Instagram.
face looks thinner.
Right, I haven't done any exercise for God knows how long, but yeah, thank you.
Right. So tomorrow we're going to exercise.
All I can do is my knee. I'm doing seated dumbbell exercises
Okay.
because I can't do anything with my knee apart from literally straightening and
You walk.
yes, just.
Okay.
I've got crutches as well.
Well, let's
But
walk.
I've only-
then.
I was only allowed to walk last Friday, so I've done 3 walks since last Friday.
Let's go for a walk then.
Literally round the block.
Walk.
Yeah,
Get
that
moving,
is what
get
I'm-
active.
Well, when you said about the game, depending on whether I have to have an operation or not, all I want to be able to do is cycle 20 miles by Christmas. If I can do that,
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
Great.
If
so
I
you've
have to have
got
an
some
operation,
focus.
I'll have to move it.
Good. So you definitely got some focus. If you
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to reach out. That goes for all of you. Just drop the ego, guys. Fucking hell. It's the whole point of you being here.
No, I appreciate it. And you're on holiday as well, James. I didn't want to.
Oh yeah, I did. Well, I definitely would have got back to you then. But the
No.
week after, I would have got. Like the Monday morning, I would have got back to you.
Yeah, no, I know. Appreciated.
All right.
Noted.
Steve,
guys.
Steve, I found it useful now I know on the app that we've got the new group, the new members thing, and I've posted a couple of things on there and I've had a bit of a tough one, mate. And I just find it useful just to offload it in a public
Yeah.
forum.
No, I appreciate. I have put a couple of bits on there, and especially in my plans, I've sort of gone. I've made the effort of putting a plan up, but sort of said I'm having a shit one, but I haven't done this, I haven't done that, but I have done this. So I'm trying to keep on top of it, and it is getting better. So
Like a journal, though, Steve. I look at the timeline as a journal for a lot of people. So writing down what the problem was, identifying why it happened, and what you're going to do next is a great way for you to connect with the self-awareness level, the conscious mind, and actually by you doing that, there will be other guys in the group that would go, "Fuck, at least it's not just me," and then they will end up. Do you know what I mean? And you'll inspire them by doing it.
well, the journal is one of my PD things because that's one thing I find quite hard. Writing in that every day because I've never done anything like that before in my life. Writing in a journal.
Perfect. All right. Okay. So let's start doing that from now on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, perfect.
Anyone else? Look at Ted. You look like fucking something out of Star Wars. Like the
I just say he looks like Holly from Red Dwarf. Just see there.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm sitting in a car park somewhere in Manchester.
Are your kids
training up with
doing
dogs.
jiu-jitsu? Is it you that said your kids are doing jiu-jitsu?
Yeah,
No,
I do jiu-jitsu.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Not at the
Yeah.
minute though. Mind you, in Manchester, you do what the fuck you want, don't you? So
I'm just trying not to get dogged, I think.
Don't turn your light on.
Yeah, exactly.
your face will highlight up a couple of times on the flag.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Does everyone have a little bit more clarity about what the score is?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Cool. And I think as you go on, you'll see like there's other stuff that's going on. So from January, we've got the loyalty points coming in. We've got the extra Zooms at the beginning of each month.
Those are the things I find really beneficial. Just listening to those and even taking part. I've listened back to a number actually before doing the 28 day. And on my 5K walk, I would go on Spotify and go back and just listen to a lot of them. The entrepreneurs, it's a good listen because you're really hearing how other people are and getting real feedback rather than just sitting wallowing.
Yeah, I love doing the workshops. They're really good reality check for everybody. And I think I think one of the biggest things that I've recognized, especially doing the 5-day challenge, is when people say, it makes me feel better to realize I'm not the only one in that position. And I think that is quite powerful for somebody because it really allows people to stop beating themselves up. Like, it's always fucking me. Like, I'm not good enough. This isn't the way I want to be. I'm not living the life I want to be. And then you think, oh, is it just me out there that's doing this? And then you can get easily influenced by like social media and other people who are pretending to live a really happy life. And so I think like you're right. The 28 days really just say it. They tell it as it is and realities of men's life. Do you know what I mean?
Although somebody telling me they can get a 6-pack by Christmas has really depressed me tonight. So
I've already changed that goal, don't worry.
Oh, here we go. Backtracking.
The question I have, Gareth, is have you ever had a 6-pack?
No.
Gareth, it's all about diet and protein levels.
Yeah. No, I know what I've got to do. I just got to do it.
Okay. All right.
That's the
Good
thing.
stuff. Brilliant. Okay. This was fun. I enjoyed this. So the next workshop, I think, is the 17th of November for everybody on the mastermind.
It's the 21st because it's my
21st
birthday.
17th might be another one. So I will see you on that. Try and make that if you can. Book in your dates as well for the events that are happening next year in terms of the workshops. It's usually the first Saturday of each month. And then hopefully, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm probably optimistic, but in April, I'd like to think that we could get a full day's training somewhere.
How do they work, James? Are they chargeable? How's that? I'm just curious about how that actually works.
Great. So you're just going to get yourself there. It's all part of your membership, mate. So I'll hire out a hall somewhere. If there is anything to pay, it will be just like, if we do paintballing, for example, probably cost you 15, 20 quid to hire your gun and so we were due to do that in October. We were due to do paintballing down in Tunbridge Wells. We all just go out for lunch. So you just get your own lunch and then I'll hire out a room and we just spend 3-4 hours thrashing it out. I know some guys were going to come down and stay the night before as well. So we try to vary them around the country. I think it's more likely to be in the south, seeing as up north got their own rules. And then we just go from there. But as soon as it happens, it'll be really good. What I really want to do is stick to the plan that we can do last time, which was paintballing, which is just it's a good laugh. And I think
you expect us to play paintball with an ex-sniper.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, guess who wins?
Well, I was thinking there's a lot of military lads coming through now, so I was thinking military versus civvy. So I was kind of
No way.
Extremists.
Pop. Yeah, it'd be good fun. It'll be crack. And actually, the days that we've done in the past, where people have come down, they've been super powerful. You get to network as well with guys, and you suddenly it's almost like the Masons. You get contacts all over the UK. Do you know what I mean? And wherever you go, if you're in trouble or you need anything, like I remember my daughter went up north for the first time in ages with a friend. And I was like, does anyone live up there? And then I must have had nearly 5 guys that lived within 10 miles of where she was staying. So they were like, yep, I'll be there if you need to. And it's brilliant to have around. And it's very powerful when you actually get to meet people in person. That's what I love doing most. So hopefully COVID will fuck off so we can just get on with it.
Agreed.
Definitely.
Happy?
Come on.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool, man. Right, I'm going to stick this up on YouTube, and then I'll stick the link in the WhatsApp group tomorrow. Good chat. It was good banter. That I like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
cheers,
guys.
Cheers,
Take
James.
care.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, James. Have a good evening.
Bye now.
Cheers, everyone.
Guys.
Guys.
Cheers.